YouTube family, welcome to another Two Family Homestead live stream. Woo!
Well, hello everybody. Got a couple people out here in the chat tonight. How's everybody doing? I see Dutch Off-Grid Homesteading, Southern Blessed Homestead, Geeky Gardens, Mama Z, Sunny's Place, Broussard Homestead, Dutch Off-Grid Homestead, Bill on the Rock Homestead, Missy at Shore Homestead, Naturally NC. First thing I want to do is I want you to tell me, can you guys hear me okay? Is my sound coming through okay? We did a bunch of reconfiguring on sound today after some issues that we had last night. So you are all my guinea pigs to find out if we have sound okay. Nobody said a word. Maybe they've not heard anything I've said. I don't know.
I hear you on my phone.
I wasn't listening.
Kiss My Grass says, yes, I can hear you. J-Lo Adventures. Okay. Well, we have got somebody very special here tonight that's going to put on her educator hat. So she's gonna take off her musical hat and take off her homesteading hat and put on her educator hat.
It sounded good, just some metally background. That's what.
Okay. Like a ringing in the background, that could have been the fan running over here.
Sounded like screeching behind you. Anne Marie.
Okay. So let me get her out here. We have Crystal Gross from Copper Kettle Farms out of Pennsylvania, Gettysburg area. I'm not giving her street address. I'm not giving her phone number. And she's deciding whether or not she's going to smile or not over here. They're saying there's a noise.
Yep.
I don't see where the noise could be coming from. I just don't see it.
They're all saying something.
Loud ringing. And there's nothing. Can you hear any ringing? Crystal, can you hear any ringing?
A little bit, but it's not too high on my end. Let me try it on my phone real quick. Yeah, I can hear it on my phone.
Yep, I sure do.
Oh, wow.
That's it. Yeah.
You have no sound on over
No,
there.
I muted mine.
This is muted. Everything's muted.
It's gone now. Now it's back. Is it better?
Yeah, I can hear it on my phone.
Yeah.
I unmuted myself to see if it was me, but it didn't seem like it was me.
Yeah, but
It's-
that noise is coming from our guest. She's screeching in the background because I haven't let her out yet.
Well, it's screeching.
Okay, well, we're gonna bring her out and see how she sounds because she's the star here tonight. So, Crystal, say hi to everybody. Tell them who you are, what you do for fun, and
Hi, everybody. My name's Crystal with Copper Kettle Farms. By day, I am a graphic designer, web designer. By night, I am a plant sleuth. So I kind of double in both the technology and then the homesteading field.
Okay, stop just a second. Hold on. I'm getting that screech through your feed.
It is from me?
Yes. Because if I turn you down, it's gone.
Interesting. Let me see if I take out my earbuds. Maybe that'll help. How about now?
I can still
Of course, I don't hear anything.
Yeah. Let's
Well, I hear you now. There you are.
Okay. Let's find
Is it
out.
better without the earbuds?
All right. Again, we're gonna ask the audience, and I'm hearing myself echo out there through.
It's still there.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
Yep, still there, Anne Marie. You're right.
But there's nothing here to induce it. All right. We're gonna make a quick test here. So right now, with me talking, is the sound still there? And so I'm going to count to like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this entire time that I'm trying to isolate this sound and find out exactly where it's coming from.
Okay, Heath. No problem. We'll show you the door.
Yeah, Heath, we don't need you in here. That's fine. You take care of yourself.
It's just gone, but yeah, as soon as you put it up, it came back again.
Now they're saying it's gone.
Well, I think it was gone when what I did was I pulled your volume completely down.
Yeah, it was fine.
All right, I put my, now it's back. So maybe it is my earbuds. I'm taking them out. We don't need those.
Okay, yeah, it's a back feed through on Crystal's end, probably through her. Why don't
you introduce that?
We could try that.
Yeah, back. I can hear it in my headset also. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Crystal, go ahead and drop out, and let's reconnect.
Go ahead and do what?
Go ahead and exit out, and then we'll reconnect.
All right.
Yeah, you're right, Jerry. You've been it. No, I don't think it's a fan, Ted. I don't think it's a fan at all. And as soon as you dropped off, it stopped.
Yeah, it's...
That's weird. It's not a fan.
Yeah, it's not a fan. I don't think you're hearing anything. I think you're hearing me just fine now, and Sherry just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gone now, Paul. She dropped off. She's going to reconnect.
Well, except she hasn't dropped off yet. There she did. All right.
Yeah, sound's gone.
All right, so we're going to let her reconnect here.
I'll have to have Crystal do some hocus pocus. And Brenda, you know, I paybacks for that wonderful present you gave me 2 years ago. That's why I thought those roosters would be perfect for you. Ha! I'm glad you're awake and you can hear now. Oh, look at that nice mug you have.
All right, we're waiting on Crystal to reconnect.
Evening, Lears. How are you?
I haven't seen her, so I don't know if she's maybe reconfiguring something at her place there, or what.
And Jess, I saw the messages going on back and forth today about the meetup next month.
Okay, and she's just now reconnected. Doesn't have the video on yet.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
But I'm not.
It's in the background.
You can hear it again?
Is it me again?
Can't you hear it?
It's so weird.
Okay, is this any better, folks? Go ahead.
Avon calling.
Yeah, Avon calling. All right, we have her reconnected. Go ahead and say hi again and introduce yourself or whatever. And
Hi, everybody.
There's more people here.
I am here to blow out your eardrums.
That's cool. We'll achieve that tonight.
Oh, it's back again. Should we try to switch to Skype?
I'm assuming that if she has a stream on over there on anything, it's muted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have my phone on. It's just my laptop. And I don't have any YouTubes on.
Is it tolerable at this point, folks? Sean wants to know if your laptop is plugged in.
Yes, it is plugged in.
He says it could be that. I think that's one of those deals like just press Alt F4 and no. He says,
Well, I just unplugged it to see if that helps, but
well, we don't want you to drop out in the middle of things here.
Carrie's asking, using Power Director, what do you click on to use 2 or more video clips at once?
Okay. Well, I can. While Crystal's
It's tolerable, so
is tolerable.
let's go for it.
All right, we're going to go for it here. So let me answer that question very quickly. In Power Director, let me put it on the screen here. If you have, let me just grab a couple of let's see. We're going to go for it here. So let me answer. Aha, I heard that.
Sounded like hell. Yeah, a lot better now. Okie dokie, Ted. Oh, yeah, it is gone now. I don't hear it at all. Did you do Hocus
wonder what changed. Technology's great when it works.
Yeah. Well, you know, that is man-made. You know that.
Okay, so who was it that asked this?
Carrie.
Okay, Terry. What I've got here is let's just do new project. No. As soon as I go to hurry on anything, nothing works right when you go to hurry. But when you have more than one video in your editing timeline, and we'll show you that here in a moment. And I'm going to make the assumption you're talking about a 2-camera shot, and what you want to do is you want to sync them up. So what you do is you put both your videos on the timeline, and you highlight them both. You can do that with a highlight one hit the control key and then highlight the second one where they're both lit up. In other words, they're both in the edit mode. That brings up a little box right here that just lit up. It says sync by audio. And that's as simple of a way to do this as I've ever seen. It will go through and it will match up these clips based upon the audio. There's no visual things that you have to get in. You don't have to work with clapboards. You don't have to work with loud sounds or anything like that. This will absolutely just match them right up. And if both of the files were recorded at the same rate, then it's good all the way through. If one of them was recorded at, say, 30 frames a second, another one was at 60 or 24 or some other frame rate, well, then you will induce a little bit of doubling, but not much. So that's how easy it is to do that. All right, let's get Crystal back on the screen here. And one of the questions that we get asked so much about all the time, especially on our Thursday night shows, I've done a number of these on Tuesday nights, is how do I create a banner? Number one, the banner on the YouTube page, there's a template out there that you can use, and that is sometimes a little bit confusing. But the reason for that is because of YouTube having to serve so many different devices. They serve television sets, they serve computers, they serve notepads, they serve phones. So all these different devices all have different screen areas to cover. So there are certain things that YouTube does behind the scenes. They will take that single image that you upload as a background, and they cut it into 3 pieces. They take a couple strips out of the center of it, and there is what's called a text safe area, that if you have your information, that whatever it is that you want displayed positively on every single device, if it's in that area, it will be displayed. If it's outside of that area, it may or may not be displayed. So it makes it a little bit difficult if you're not used to using pictures. I have always shown processes using some type of photo editing equipment or using a video editing tool to create these images. But Crystal is very familiar with the program Canva. And if you want to go ahead and just take off here and talk about it.
Sure. So again, my name is Crystal with Copper Kettle Farms. I've been doing website design and graphic design, honestly, probably since the mid-90s. Just to date myself, I started doing it when I was a freshman in high school. And this new software, Canva, it's been around for a couple years. It really blew up last year, and now it's become kind of a full-service graphic creation program that's web-based. They have a free version. They have a paid version. Through my business, my digital marketing agency, we use the paid version. But for purposes for tonight, I signed up for a free version account with another email so that you can see the flexibility that you have even with just the free version. So it's worth it just to have it for that. So when you guys are ready, I can share my screen and we can go through making a sample banner and some of the features you get with the free version. Let me pull up my Canva.
Now, Canva also has the ability to do thumbnails, do they not?
Yeah, it can do pretty much everything. It can do logo design, t-shirt design. I actually designed the Copper Kettle Farms logo with Canva. It can do business card design, posters if you want to make a poster, It can do pretty much everything, and it has default measurements. So I know a lot of times what people struggle with was, well, how wide do I make a Facebook cover photo, and how wide do I make a YouTube banner pixel wise? And you sometimes have to either Google it or just test it, but this one actually has the default measurements built in, which is kind of nice. Mama Z says she uses Canva. Great, that's perfect. So what I want to do is, this is an account that's a free version, so everything you see here you can do. There are pro features that are good to have, but not necessary for what we're going to do here. Under Create a Design, it already has some default suggested design types that you can do, whether it's a poster, Instagram post. For this one, you can see it's got YouTube channel art and YouTube thumbnail up because I was playing with them earlier, and that's kind of the latest one that I was using. But if you type in any word like YouTube, these are all the features it has available for YouTube. For example, the channel art. If you have an icon you want to create, the thumbnails for your videos, you can create through Canva. You can do, actually, some of these are kind of new that I haven't played with as much, but an intro. You can do video in this, actually. I don't think a lot of people realize they have added a new video functionality. Not a video editing tool so much as you can create some basic stock style videos. And I can go through that as well, but I want to focus on the banner art first. And then if we have time, we can kind of play with some of the other fun things. So I'm going to create a channel banner. And I'm going to do it. I have a channel that is just my music, and I haven't really put much on here, but I've never created a banner for it because I don't play with it much. So we're going to go ahead and create it and test it out on this other YouTube account that I have. Now, one of the cool things that Canva has is it has default templates available. And I think a lot of people don't realize that if you don't have a design or an eye for design, it has some samples that you can start with as kind of a base template, which is very helpful. Now I guess we could do a couple different examples too. You can do a search for templates, maybe look for one that says nature. Doesn't look like they have any that are nature. Or you can just go down and see all results. And here's a couple sample banners that they have available that you can start with. I'm just going to start with a basic one, which was this one. It's actually kind of a cute little gamer banner here, but you can kind of see how everything is centered in the middle, which is where you want it, because obviously YouTube, it has to kind of shrink it down for all the different resolutions. So everything should be centered in the middle to cater to all of those resolutions. Now, I'm not big on this blue for my music channel, so maybe I'll do like a black background. So when I click on this element, you can see it gives me a color box here on the top left. That's the background color. If I click on it, I can either pick some of these default colors it's got available, or click the color square here, and then I can just drag and pick a color. Maybe I want like a charcoal style color here. And that's my new color. And it's the same for the text. If I click on this text, right now it has all of these grouped as one element. I can ungroup them so I can move them around individually if I want. If I click on the text, you get that same ability where you can click on the text color, and it brings up that same color section, and it lets you pick what kind of color you want. For me, I like green, so I'm going to change the yellow to green. If I double click in here, I can maybe put my name. And the font's kind of techie, so I might change the font to something else. It has all kinds of built-in fonts. I mean, it has tons of fonts that you can use. You see the ones with the crown, those mean that you have to use the paid version of Canva to do this. But there's still a lot of fonts in here that you can use by default. And then you can actually upload your own fonts once you have a paid account, if you wanted to do that. Right now, we'll just play with some of these to see which one might look good for a music account or a musician. That one's kind of hard to read. I actually like playing with fonts a lot. As part of a graphic design aesthetic, it's fun to they create different moods and stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen those memes that run around and say font matters when someone talks about, I have to find an example of it, but you can create moods with fonts, which I like. I think I'm going to choose Something blocky and simple like that. And I might stretch it out just a little bit so it all fits on one line. So now I've got a title, and maybe, and a lot of our channels put out content regularly, I would put something like new video every first Friday or something, like a new music video. Maybe I want that font to be a little bigger. So you've got the ability to change the font, the size, the color, whether it's bold. I'll leave this one white, but I do want it to be a little bigger. We'll say like 36. There we go. And then you've got this icon. Canva has the ability to give you all kinds of really cool icons, which is where, if you ever see our logo on the farm, I have like a goat and some plants and chickens. Those are all icons that I found on Canva. So they're called elements. And let's say I want to find one that's a guitar. Here's a couple free types of clip art that I can use on this channel, or this graphic. You can see the crown again. There's the ones that if you have to have a pro account to use, but these other ones, you hover over them, it does show free, so you can use these as much as you want. Now I play acoustic guitar, so I'm actually going to delete the gaming controller. I'm going to click on this guitar, and I'm going to shrink it by grabbing the corner. Let's see, maybe about this size, and then there's a little rotate icon here, so I can kind of rotate so it's more horizontal. Now you'll notice at the top left where we chose the color for the background, I've got color icons again. It actually lets me change the color of the guitar. So maybe I want the guitar to be a dark green with maybe white accents, or maybe I'll click on that dark green again. Maybe I want it to be pink with maybe purple accents or something. I'm not a big pink or purple person, but you get the idea. Make sure that's centered. Now, when I drag this icon around, you can see it gives me this purple line straight down the center. That means it's centered from the top and the bottom. It's centered vertically. Now, I'm going to drag it down a little bit over the text just to show you. It also provides this ability to center horizontally as well. It gives you that crosshair. That lets you know that everything is centered perfectly within this element, this block that we're creating. So I'm going to drag it back up, make sure it's centered. If I want, I can go on the outside of the screen, highlight everything, and group it so that it's all one big group of draggable content. And if I wanted, I could try to center it this way, but I feel like that's still a little low, so I'm going to keep it up a little bit. Right about there, I guess. So that gives you the ability to, that's kind of a basic banner right there. Now, a lot of the channels I've noticed, they like to have a little bit more personality to their banners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this page. So now I have two versions. And I'm going to create someone that's got a little bit more elements that homesteaders might use. Maybe they want to have pictures of their farm or their people. There's a couple of really good channels out there that have good channels or good channel art that I think is a little bit more complicated than what I've done here. So we're going to go ahead and delete this icon. Maybe I want to find a picture. It has a photo functionality where it has stock photography that you can use. You can also upload your own photos. I uploaded, under uploads, our logo. So I can actually click on it once I've uploaded it and drag it around and use this in the graphic if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. But if you have like a picture of, let's say, some of your animals or your family that you want to use in your channel, you can definitely upload them and then use that in your art. But let's say if I'm doing a homestead channel and maybe I want to do maybe like a wildflower background. So I'm going to type in wildflower once I click on this photos tab, and that's going to give me access to all kinds of free stock photography that I can use within our banner. I actually do that on Copper Kettle Farms. The wood background is just some stock photography wood that I found that I liked.
Crystal.
Ooh, I like this one.
Crystal.
So I get this. Yes?
Can you emphasize a little bit more on the free stock photography? Because a lot of people will just go grab a picture and upload it, and that's not the thing to do.
Right. Like free stock photography is basically photography that has usage rights that are available for use without a license. So all the photos that are in Canva that are marked free are free to use. There are photos, if you have a paid account, that you can pay for. Now, again, if I pulled up the Copper Kettle Farms logo, the outline of our logo is the state of Pennsylvania. I didn't want to have to draw that. So someone had that art available on Canva. I just had to pay for it. I paid $1 for that piece of artwork, and now I could reuse it over and over again. So I have the license to use that artwork. But obviously, you don't want to just download or steal somebody's artwork and use it. There are ways you can find other artwork outside of Canva. I think Daryl has demonstrated that enough with, like, Pixelbee is one place you get artwork. What are some of the other ones that you've used, Daryl?
Well, there's Pixabay, there's Pexels. Those are the two big ones.
Yeah. There is another way. Let's see if this will show on my computer. If you go to Google and you search for, let's say, wildflower field, and you'll get some default search results. But if you go under, let's see, I think it's under tools. No, maybe it's under more.
Get into images first. Okay.
Search settings. There we go. So under, oh, it wasn't that either. There's a way that you can. They've changed the display here recently, so I'm trying to figure out where. Let me just go under images. I think that's what I have to do first. Yeah, sorry about that. So if you go under the image search and you do a search for something that you're interested in displaying as your background, you can find or filter the results by usage rights. So labeled for reuse, meaning you can reuse these photos. All of these photos are labeled for reuse. So if I wanted to download any of these photos to use in my channel art, I could do that because they've been labeled by Google as labeled for use. So I can save this image on my computer, and then I'll show you how you upload it to Canva if this is one you wanted to use. So again, if you're in Google and you type in your search result and then hit images, there's a tool that lets you find ones that are labeled for reuse or labeled for non-commercial use. So you're not using it to sell anything. Now, if you have a monetized channel, I don't know if that's considered selling. In their eyes, it probably is.
Yeah, that makes it commercial.
Yeah, so I would do labeled for reuse. If you're not monetized, you could probably get away with non-commercial temporarily. But again, I usually just go for reuse just to be safe. So if I go back, and I'm going to go ahead and upload this photo that I just downloaded. That was labeled. Let's see, here it is. All you do is drag and drop it. It automatically picks up your upload folder. And now I can use this photo in any of my future artwork. So I'm going to drag it over, place it as a background. Now, the issue with having a lot of these really intense or bright photos is text doesn't really show on top of them very well. So you have to do some adjustments, either through creating an outline on your text, which is the one feature that Canva does not have, by the way, is the ability to put outline around your text. However, there are ways to get around it. So one of the things I would do in this particular instance is do basically a block background that goes through the center of the image that gives the ability for the text to be seen easily. So I'll show you guys how to do that really quick. So under elements, not only do you have the ability to find like artwork like that guitar, look, they even have a coronavirus section. How crazy is that? You can do shapes, you can do frames, you can do charts and gradients, lines. There's all kinds of things you can play with. And again, all of this is free as long as it's marked free and doesn't have that little crown for the pro version. Oh, they even have cool sketched fruit. That's a new section. What I'm looking for right now, I want to use a shape. And I basically am just going to choose a solid square, and it's going to stick it in the middle of my graphic here. That's not where I want. I kind of want to stretch and make it more of an elongated. So I'm going to stretch it to both ends. And I'm probably going to make it more narrow. And I want to make sure it's centered in the middle of the graphic. Now, I don't want to leave it gray. I kind of want to make it like a black, maybe a dark black like that. But maybe I still want a little bit of the flowers to show behind this graphic. This has the ability to make those squares transparent, which I like as well. It's this transparency icon here on the top right. So if I click on that, I can drag the opacity of this square or this element to be as transparent as I want. And maybe something like this where you can still kind of see the flowers behind it, but the text is way more readable. So that's one way to create a banner graphic. Now I'm going to download both of these really quick, just to show how they look on a channel banner. And then I might show some of the other elements in Canva that might be useful. And I do want to show one other feature that I think would be useful for channels as well. But to download, there is a download button here on the top right. You can download in different formats, which is another cool thing. I usually download in a PNG format. PNG format is widely used in web for graphics that have a transparent background. Now, neither of these have transparent background, so I could technically download it as a JPEG. However, I don't need to for this particular instance. You can also download them as PDFs if you start creating books or business cards. If you want to create a video, you can download an MP4. And then I've used this before in some of our videos. If I needed a quick piece of video that wasn't recorded, I just created it in Canva and then I used it in our videos. So I'm going to go ahead and download this as a PNG. I'm going to download just the first page first. If you can click both pages, but it downloads it into a zip file and then you have to unzip it and stuff. And I didn't want to have to do that for this particular video. So I'm going to go to my YouTube and add my channel art. I'm going to select it from my computer. Now it automatically downloads into my downloads folder. And what I like, obviously everybody has experienced this, it gives you an idea of what it looks like on your desktop, on your TV, and on your mobile. Now on the mobile, it looks like it's pretty good. It looks like the guitar might be butting up a little bit at the top, but I'm not as worried about that right now. So we're just going to take a look and see what it looks like in my YouTube page here. And then we're going to go to my channel just to get the full effect. So that was a quick and easy way to do a very basic channel art. But again, there's way more complicated and easier or ways, or not complicated, but I guess intricate ways to create the art. So one other thing I wanted to show you, because I think a lot of people are going to use this, is the grids. What I like about grids on Canva is it creates a very seamless way to display photos without you having to guess widths and heights and adjusting photos. It just makes it very easy, and I'll show you why here in a second. So maybe you want, I'm just going to choose a single solitary grid here. Maybe you want a photo of your family, and actually I'm going to get rid of this background here too, because that's going to be a little loud for what I'm doing here. And get rid of the square too. Maybe you want a couple photos of your family within your banner art. And maybe you want them a little haphazard, kind of like a picture. I'll move this over. I'm going to do a search for just a random woman right now. This one looks very happy, but that's a pro account. Let's do this one. So here's a woman. I'm going to drag her picture into this box. Now, it automatically formats the picture to fit in this box. And let's say I wanted to do a couple of these boxes. So when I click on any element, it also has the ability to duplicate that element. So I don't have to redo the font color. I don't have to redo the shape. So I'm going to duplicate that element. Maybe I want like a layered box effect here. And I want to put another person in here or another picture. And this could be a chicken and a goat. Like, I don't know. It could be either or. And I actually make it a little smaller just to, because I know that YouTube is going to shrink all of this down. And this is going to look way too big the way it is now. Now, if this is too hard to see, you do have the ability to zoom in on the bottom right here. Right now, it's set to fit into my screen. But if I wanted to do like 100% or maybe 75% just to get a better visual of what I'm doing, you can certainly do that. It makes it a little easier. So actually, that's a pro image, so I can't use that. This is an interesting image. I don't know what's going on there, but she's really happy about that bath. So I'm going to layer 2 images on top of each other.
I'll plug in the drain.
Let me zoom out a little bit. Maybe not that much. And we'll say YouTube Homestead. And what I like about this is if I were to group these 2 together, and I can select one and then hold down Shift and select the other. And actually you can, like if I want to switch one and say this one I want to be in the front rather than behind, you can switch the layering effect too. But what I like about these elements is it lets you it automatically adjusts the size of them together, which is nice. So that way, if you have to change all of these photos, and let's say you've got 10 photos, you don't have to recut the photos to fit into the box. You don't have to drag and resize the photo each time. You basically just take your photo that you've uploaded, and then you just drag it into a box. And it automatically reformats that for you, which is why I like these elements. It makes it so much easier. So let's go ahead and put a background behind here, I think. I still really like that blue flower background. So I'm going to go under the recently used photos that I've been playing with. So because maybe I couldn't remember what it was called. I'm going to throw this in the background. Let me zoom out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. I want this background to be in the very, very back. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. I've got my photos. I've got some text. I think I might pull one of the blues. One of the things I really like about this too is it automatically pulls the colors from the photos. This is a newer feature in Canva. So if I want to find a color that's integrated in that photo, like this is obviously pulled from kind of the beiges in the sky here, or this one's a little too dark. Maybe I want the orange that matches the sunset or something like that. You have the ability to incorporate the same colors that are on here. Now this kind of looks like it's a little bit too far to the right, so I'm going to center this with that center line that you see pop up. And we're going to download this and see if I made it small enough. Download page 3, because this is page 3. I've got 3 different pages here, but I'm downloading page 3. That's the only graphic I want to download right now. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I haven't been looking at the chat, but if you have questions about elements in Canva, feel free to let me know, because there's so much you can do. I think we're only going to touch the surface with this, but it's so versatile. I really love it. I will say I use this a lot for my business, so it's definitely something that even businesses are using right now.
Crystal, is there a feature within Canva that allows you to size that, or to test the size that you've done in the middle there to see if it will fit before you go to the trouble of downloading it and find out that your pictures are already out of the display area? Because not
that I'm aware of. That may be something that they incorporate in the future. As you can see, it does cut off a little bit of the top and the bottoms of the photos, but I can go back and readjust that if I need to. But honestly, artistically, that particular part doesn't matter as long as the text is there and fits where I need it to be. But I don't think they have a preview function. I know they have a way to preview certain things, but I don't think it's for that. I think it's like if you were to create a business card, it'll let you preview. And actually, I'll show you that real quick too. What I mean by preview. If I want to do a business card shape, I'm just going to pick one of their default templates.
And everything you're showing here is free.
Everything I'm using a free account right now, so everything I've done so far is free.
And this is free forever.
Now I do have a paid account, and a paid account lets you use a lot of the pro photos. The biggest thing I use a paid account for is it lets me download transparent images, and I do use them a lot. Like when I overlay the Copper Kettle Farms logo on our videos, I did that in Canva. I didn't want it to be like a white block and then my logo in the middle. I just want it to be my logo. So it's everything behind it's transparent. So if, for example, for these business card designs, this is just a sample design that they have. You can change, like I can change. Here's another cool feature that you guys might find useful. You've got all these leaves in here, but they're all separate elements. And it looks like they're 2 different shades of green. So if I select one of these leaves, maybe I want the leaves to be purple instead. Now it gives me the option to change all of that particular green to purple. So if I select that, oh, and it looks like the other ones are just transparent. So it makes all of them the same color automatically, which is very convenient. But when you print business cards, you select the print option. It does give you this little preview screen of what the card might look like here. But again, it's not like, it wouldn't do that for YouTube. That is basically what I'm getting at. It would be nice if they added that, but they don't have that feature currently. I think another thing I did want to show you guys, if you need to do kind of like a basic video, let me do, because I did this once before where I had to have a filler video to kind of segue into another part of my current video. Let me show you. We'll do YouTube.
Grass is asking, can you make the leaves Technicolors?
Technicolors? Can I make the leaves Technicolors? You probably could. You can do pretty much any colors, so I probably could. But let me show you the videos. So under videos, they don't have a whole lot of stock video yet, but let's do a search for cat. Oh, here's some cool cats. Everybody likes cats, right? I think I've used this one before. I'm going to drag this cat over here. And this is a video of a cat just looking, and maybe it's a transition saying something like, let's add some text. Again, I don't even think I talked about this before. There is a text section. You can add your own custom text. So I'm going to add a heading. And I want this to be white because the video has a kind of a dark background. And I'm going to drag it. Let's check out our next segment. And I'm going to play this cat behind it just to see what it looks like with my text over it. So maybe I want to drag it off the face of the cat a little bit more. Maybe I want to I'm going to duplicate this text because the one behind it I'm going to make black and then layer the white one over it and make it slightly off-centered so it kind of has like a background to it, make it stand out a little more. And then I'm going to hit play again. So you can download, this is the exact video that you would download. So you would transition your video section into this little segment and then go into your next part of your video. I've used this a lot when I didn't have something to kind of fill in. They've got this stock video that you can use to do this, but you download this, it does the exact same shape as a normal video that you're using in DaVinci or Adobe Premiere or something like that. But it's kind of nice to have some stock video that you can play with like this. And you can upload your own video too. I've done that before as well, where I have just a little B-roll of something that I want to upload and use and put text over it. You can do that in Canva as well, which is nice.
And there's thousands and thousands of free videos on.
Yeah.
On
and you can use
and Pixabay and
I think there's chicken videos too. I think I've used before. If I want to change the cat video to a chicken video. Oh, this one's even got sound. So, yeah, you can do all kinds of video stuff with this. But yeah, if you run into an issue where you can't read the text so much, try creating a duplication of the text you've already created. Make it kind of black, like I did here. I have 2 sets of the same text, same size. And I just kind of layered one on top, and then I used my arrow keys on my keyboard to go up a little bit and maybe left a little bit. And that creates a little bit of like a drop shadow. It makes it stand out a little more.
There you go, Ted. That's for you. See? Ooh, a rooster. I knew she'd grab that one. Brenda.
Does anybody have any questions so far about some other things I can show them? I'm trying to think of what else I could show them. There's so many things. There's so many elements you can use too. Frames. Frames is a cool thing. You might have seen this in some of our initial thumbnails when we were doing we would do like the teal background. Let's say something like that. And then we had like the paint stroke of our picture. This is kind of like a little paint stroke. Again, it works kind of like the grid in that you can drag a photo over here and it'll format it within that paint picture stroke. So it could be a picture of you. It could be a picture from your video. You can change the size of it. I've also done before where I've duplicated it. I made the back one just a solid color just to make it stand out a little more, maybe like a white. And then I'll drag this one kind of slightly off center just to make it stand out a little bit. But you can do different shapes, which is one of the things I really love about grids. I think we moved away from doing the paint stroke one, and I think now we're doing more I think we use this one a lot. Yeah. So this is one we use on a lot of our thumbnails on our channel, just so we can give a preview, but we still kind of have like our brand logo in here. Where's my logo? So we'll put Copper Kettle Farms up here. And then we have our text underneath. I have to drag this over a little bit. So something like that. That would be a thumbnail art. So if you want it to be something a little bit more custom, and there's all kinds of shapes you can play with. There's even like a stamp shape. There's letters. You could have your photo show on the back in the shape of a letter, which is kind of cool. So we'll get rid of this one. Maybe I want those flowers within the letter D for some reason. I don't know why, but you kind of get the idea. Something like that. I'm trying to think what else I can show you guys. There's so many different things you can do, but again, this is all the free version that I'm doing right now. Does anybody have any other things they want me to show them real quick?
I'm just mesmerized.
Yeah, Canva is definitely a work of art. Whoever invented this, and it's worth it to get the paid version if you can get it. But honestly, you can do so much with this version. Who likes berries? Everybody likes berries.
On the other side of that, Crystal.
Samson Farms loves blueberries. I just want to put that out there in the public right now.
Now, if you resize that, is that resizing the picture too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can make it uber big if I didn't want to use the whole thing.
But everything you're doing here can also be done with a standalone editing tool.
Yes. This just makes it easier because it's more like a drag and drop interface. You don't have to have, I use Photoshop regularly as well when I have to do some really serious editing, but this makes it so much faster. I used to do all of my social media photos in Photoshop, but this cut down at least tenfold the time that I would have to spend making the slight adjustments or dragging and cutting images over and over again. This just automatically does it for me, which it's just so much easier. Plus, it automatically has all the sizes. Now, you can't use the resize function without the paid account, but if I create a graphic like this, what I'll tend to do if I want to use the same graphic on social media, Instagram is more of a square-oriented format. It's not rectangle like this. I could technically make a copy. So I would go to File and Make a Copy. So now I have two versions of the same graphic if I don't want to mess up the original one. So now I got this one that I can mess with. Battery power's going crazy. But if you had the paid version, you could resize it to be a business card. You could resize it to be an Instagram photo, an Instagram story, and it still has all the elements. You might have to drag them around a little bit more to fit in that space, but it automatically resizes for that platform for you, which is nice.
Now, can you do 3D in this? Red's asking.
Let me know if the sound goes crazy again. I'm plugging in my laptop really quick.
Crystal, question was asked, can you do 3D?
Can you do 3D? You cannot do 3D. It's basically just kind of flat images and video and print design and then some social media design. And it does have some, for social media specifically, you do have the ability to post to your Facebook or your Twitter automatically. You can share the link if you want someone to review it first. You can, I actually collaborate with people that have an account if you want them to come in and make edits. So a lot of it's also oriented for businesses that have a team to make edits and collaborate on projects as well. But I don't think it does 3D. And I don't know that they'll do 3D. There are other systems out there if you need like video creation, like graphically or something, but this isn't one of them.
What about the fonts, Chris? I'm guessing it's pretty limited.
It does have fonts. When we click on the font, you'll see the ones that it has available. The ones with the crown, again, are paid, so you can't use those. With the paid account, you can upload your own fonts. So I've done that. Let me see how many it's got. I mean, it has a decent number. Let me get rid of this background here. So there are a couple that you can use. And some of them are a little bit more fancy or scripty than others. But yeah, it does have a couple. It's just not as many as you would have, say, on your computer if you download fonts regularly, or I guess if you wanted to upload fonts, you don't have that ability unless you have a pro account. Does it do versioning? It does not do versioning. That is something I would love for it to do. It does not do versioning currently. So what I tend to do is if I'm going to work on an element, let's say this is something that Donald created and I wanted to work on it and maybe make adjustments, what I would do is make a copy. And it's in the same file. It's just I would make my adjustments here, and that way we can compare. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would do. Now, another cool element, if you don't have video that you want to use, like the cat video or that chicken video, maybe you want to do a transition. Here we go. Something like you wanted it to transition from this screen into this screen in a seamless video. You can actually download videos out of graphics that you've created. So it'll create a video with these two graphics. And I'm not sure if it'll let me show because it's looking at this screen. Yeah, it's not showing.
Versioning, in a nutshell, is keeping a record of every change you've gone through.
Right, exactly. You can download this. It'll create a video that basically fades from this screen to this screen. So you don't have to have video actually on the graphic itself. It'll create a transition screen that fades from this one into this one. I don't think it's going to let me show it to you because it's going to open up the video on another screen on my computer. But you do have the ability to do that. You just have to trust me, I guess. Yeah, it's not showing otherwise, but.
And she says, trust me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You worry when somebody says that.
Well, does anybody out there have any questions? I know a few have been asked.
They're just mesmerized. I mean, I think everybody's going to go back and watch this one.
I see Ridge Life caught a swarm today. That's exciting.
Ooh, out in the garden video. Sounds like fun, Patty.
Now, Crystal, how long have you been using Canva?
I've been using it for probably about 2 years now. Okay. The paid version that I pay for is about $19 a month. So, I mean, it's still fairly affordable. I also have Photoshop. I pay $21 a month to use that rather than buying the software outright. So it's comparable. I still pay for both, but yeah, I've been using it for about 1.5 years, and they do put out a lot of new features. The video thing is new. If you wanted to create a new design on something, all these, like, you can create your resume in here. Wedding invitations, your phone wallpaper. If you want to change the wallpaper on your cell phone to be custom to your homestead, you can do that here. Postcards, certificates, menus. One thing that I'm doing is a lot of us homesteaders are getting together to create a recipe book of homesteaders. I'll be using Canva for that, and then they can also log in and collaborate while we're putting this together. Gift certificates, of course, your social media. It's got pretty much a massive amount of initial structure that you can start with, and then templates. People create templates all the time, so you can start out with something that looks pretty swank as is, and then change it up. Something like this. All you have to do is change the color and the text, and you're good to go. You could be done creating this within 2 minutes.
I think a big feature that is not often thought of is the fact, being an online program like this, you don't have to have a powerhouse laptop to be doing this type of editing. You can do this with a Chromebook. You can do this with...
Yeah, they actually have a cell phone app and an iPad app. The cell phone app is nice, especially if I'm on the go and I need to create a quick social graphic for a client. I can do it. The only issue with the cell phone app is it's harder. It's harder to look up your own uploads. You have to re-upload from your cell phone in order to use it. And if you have multiple pages, like see how this has got 3 different pages to it, it downloads all 3 pages onto your phone before you can upload it. So it has a little bit of quirks on the cell phone that aren't as great, but it's still extremely versatile, and you can do all kinds of things with the cell phone app.
What Emma's asking, what's the advantage of this, say, over Sketch or Figma?
Yes, this is the free version that I'm showing now. I was seeing in the chat. The paid version does give you some more bells and whistles, but you can do so much with the free version as is.
What were the 2 programs? Sketch or Figma. Are you familiar with those programs?
What's it called?
Sketch and Figma.
No, I don't know those. I do try to keep up with what new programs are coming out, but I've kind of, once you get busy enough and you have a tool that works with what you need, then I haven't spent as much time looking at other things, but I'm always willing to experiment with other programs.
Yeah, there's a lot of different programs out there, but I know Canva is a popular one.
Mm-hmm.
I was real pleased to find out that you had this in your toolbox, and we'll be able to share this with the folks out here this evening.
Oh yeah, I love working with graphics and creating, because you're creating a message. And I try to tell people, when you're displaying anything on social media about your brand, and basically every single one of us has a brand. It's our channel. Like Two Family Homestead is a brand. You want to be able to create something that gives people an impression, and this is something that gives you the tools to do that. That's free. You want it to be high quality. If it looks like it's kind of put together by your third cousin from Alabama or from New York, then it might not be representing your brand the best way possible. So I encourage people to play with something like this because it gives you a lot more tools to look professional.
Well,
You are most welcome, Red.
I take it you can see the chat there. You've got a lot of people thanking you here, and they've all
Everybody's awesome.
Done a nice job.
I really appreciate you letting me come on and do this because I can geek out about this for hours.
Well, I have no problem that if you'd like to do this again here in the future, maybe we can expand on it or go back to real basics or.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this
and one of the things I'm going to do in a giveaway here soon is create one of these for someone. So I'll use this tool when I do it. So if I'm going to create a graphic for somebody, this is usually the one I'll start with.
So is there anybody in the chat here that has a specific problem or issue that you've been trying to solve in the way of a graphic, specifically around the YouTube function, be it your logo, your banner, or a thumbnail, that we can maybe address here this evening and kind of ease your mind and maybe give you a couple clues on which direction to head, or if so, now's the best time to to type it in the chat there.
If you ever need to go back and edit a design too, all you have to do is go to all your designs, and they'll all be displayed here, so you can go back and either create a copy of it or edit it, or...
Now, is that true on the free version too?
Yeah, this is on the free version too. So it saves all of your designs. You can create folders for them. If you start creating a lot of designs, you need to reorganize them a little better. You can move it to a folder, and we'll say, I'll call this one Canva. So now if I go to folders over here, I've got one called Canva tutorial, so I know that one's in there. So you can select any of these and categorize them as well, which is nice to keep things a little bit more organized.
And Mama Z's, thank you so much for popping that little dancing pear in here.
Yeah, I see a lot of people say that they need help with their banners and stuff. So I'm always willing to help out channels with their banners if somebody does need help with it. But feel free to, there's no harm in playing with this program. It's not like you're going to break anything. It's not going to break your computer. If you are worried about, you get something kind of halfway where you want it, and you think you might mess it up if you go any further, just make a copy of that page and then work on that one and see if you can move it to that next step. So it's very easy to play with. You're not going to break anything. Just make copies of stuff if you feel like you're going to mess up a design that you like or half like.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Is that a left-handed or right-handed guitar you put on your page here?
Let's see. I think that would work for either by the looks of it. I can't really tell. But I'm right-handed. I see Bake a Leg says he missed almost the whole show. You can go back and rewatch this at any time, and feel free to message me if you have questions about it. But if you go back and watch it, Bake a Leg, then you should be able to go through most of the steps on what we did to create a basic banner and different elements that you can use.
Yeah, I think the majority of you folks in here are familiar with Crystal. She's in a lot of our streams and other streams out there all the time, becoming very well known throughout the homesteading community. Does a great job. Her full-time job is creating web designs for people?
Yeah, I do web design. I've been doing that for over 20 years. I recently, I started my business 6 years ago. Actually, this month is my 6-year anniversary being in business. We do social media marketing, so we actually take over people's social media accounts and post on their behalf. I create the graphics, I create video, I find what's trending in the news that we can use in their social media. We do search engine optimization for people that need to rank higher on Google. I do business card design. We do pretty much everything. It's a full service digital agency. It's just, we also like farming, so I put a lot of focus on that as well. I have to kind of share my time between the two.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she can sing and strum the strings.
Oh yeah, I do sing occasionally. You can usually catch it on my lives, but I've noticed that YouTube likes to demonetize. Not that I'm monetized or anything, but when you sing songs that are popular, it doesn't let you monetize those videos. So I kind of shoot myself in the foot when I do that. So Farmoki said that they have a video or a picture of soybeans that they want to get into their banner, but they don't know how. So just to go over, once you have a photo that you want to use in Canva, all you have to do is you find what folder it is on your computer. So let me see if I can find that random photo that I can just upload. So here's one. All you have to do is take that photo in your folder, and I know you can't see that what I'm doing right now, but if I hold down my mouse on that photo and I just drag it over to Canva, it's automatically going to say, do you want to drop and upload this photo? And I'm just going to release my mouse and it's going to upload the photo. So now that photo is available to use in Canva for any project I want, whether it's making a YouTube graphic, a banner, social media, or something like that. So now I can just take that and drag it into the area where I want it to be. So if it's something like this. Now this is just a pre-graphic that I had created the other day, but if this was your soybean photo, then your soybean photo would be here. You can start adding text over it, shapes, other photos. So it's very easy to transition a photo that you've taken with your phone or a camera onto Canva. It's really just a drag and drop. And then you can use it for all kinds of things.
Okay, Bake-A-Leg, ways to get in touch with Crystal?
Yeah, if you you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook and message us through either one of those. Alternatively, you can contact us through Gmail, copperkettlefarms@gmail.com, and send us an email, and I'm more than happy to help you out.
Now, I have a question for you, because
Sure.
there may be some folks out here that have an interest. What would be a typical cost of just let's say a single page web page that somebody just wanted to make a little presence on the web? What would it cost somebody to do that, to have you do it? I'm going to say a simple site. You know, what do domains cost nowadays, and hosting fees, and I mean, what are they looking at from a out-of-pocket expense to say have a presence?
If it's just a one page, I could probably do something, honestly, for that in the homesteading community. I've already got a couple that have hired me to do something that I'm working on for them right now. I could probably put something like that together for like $300. If you're talking about like a full-fledged, normally my minimum website cost is around $1,000, but that's like the full website, an about page, contact us, galleries, portfolios, things like that. And then if there's e-commerce involved where they want to sell securely, we do that as well. It would be like a version of Squarespace, but it would be your own, and that you could customize and, do whatever you want with it and not have to follow specific guidelines according to Squarespace. Then those are a little bit more because, we have to integrate secure credit card processing, things like that. So those will run a little bit more, but $1,000 is a normal website. If you're talking just a one-page simple, I can probably do this for around $300, especially for the homesteading community, because I obviously want to support everybody here, and it's just such a great community. So why wouldn't I want to help you guys out?
And okay, now that's the cost to produce it, but there's also a fee to host it.
Yes, hosting is. We do hosting as well. I actually have a dedicated server. I invest a lot of money in this server, over $400 a month for this server. So it has high security. It's very fast, and I do host quite a few websites on it. I charge, if you're doing it yearly, it's $96 a year, which comes to about $8 a month. Or you could do $36 a quarter, which comes to about $12 a month. Or if you wanted to do a monthly fee, it's about $15 a month. And that's fairly comparable. You probably will find cheaper prices if you went with GoDaddy hosting. I think they have like a $5 a month option. With GoDaddy, you're going to be on a shared server with thousands of other clients. So, it could be here or there, whether it's fast enough or not. A lot of search engine optimization does depend on how fast your website loads. So you don't want it to be too complicated. You want it to be able to load quickly. One of the things I try to tell my clients with social media is the average goldfish has a attention span of about 6 seconds. The average person on Facebook has an attention span of about 3 seconds. So if your website takes longer than 3 seconds to load, it's more than likely you're going to lose a couple people. So another thing with marketing too is you have to catch their attention right away. So if you're marketing something for a business or even for your channel, if you're just doing it through text, so most people that are scrolling through their phone are just going to scroll past a bunch of text. But if you have something visual, like a graphic, video is really hot right now, then they'll pause for a second and kind of check out what you're talking about. So I always encourage people to include video and image wherever you can, because that's what's going to get people's attention. I see Sean in Alaska asks if we handle the domain purchase. I do that as well. We can either do it for you or sorry about the clock. I see Donald on here. My dad has this cuckoo clock going on, and it goes off at 15 minutes late every hour. But yes, we do domain registration. It's about $18 a year to purchase a domain. There are companies out there that once you've purchased a domain, they'll send you a letter, and it'll say it's from ICANN, which is where domains are registered. And it, if you need to renew it for $79 for the year or something. And those are usually people just trying to not steal your domain, but steal where you register it so that you're registered through them. So if you ever get a letter in the mail saying you need to register your domain name for $70 some, it's pretty much a scam. You should be in an email, and it should cost you no more than $20 a year in order to register your domain name.
And I see that they're posting some of your business things up here. So,
thank you.
Tell us about the name Misfit.
Misfit. So Misfit was conceived because I worked for a couple companies down in Baltimore, Maryland, and also Frederick, Maryland, because I'm originally from Maryland. And one of the companies I worked for, I was the internet project manager. And I still did web design, but I was more managing the whole web design team at that point in time. And the boss came to me, and we were doing a website for a basement waterproofing company. And apparently he was supposed to have been writing articles for them for the last couple of months and hadn't been. And they were asking, where are these articles that we were supposed to be receiving? And actually, I can stop my screen share while I'm doing this. So he's like, why don't you go ahead and create these articles and predate them or backdate them to make it look like we've been doing it this whole time. And it's not the first time I've run into shady business practices. I know the problem with web design companies is there's no regulation, and most of the people that run them or are involved with web design and internet technology, it's like trying to talk to people that don't understand the lingo. There's such a huge divide. They can get away with a lot more because the average person doesn't know the technology. So what I decided to do is try to create something a little different. I wanted to be kind of misfits in the web design world. And my team at the time, it was a name that we all agreed kind of represented what we wanted to do is we want to push the envelope. We wanted to do things a little different. Our websites are, they're clean and they're professional, but we try to do things that look a little bit more fun. And so that's kind of where that name came from.
Okay. Well, if nobody has any more questions, it's been over an hour. It's been a fun evening. I'm hoping that everybody learned something tonight.
Me too.
And enjoyed yourself. And I've often told you it's just another tool in your toolbox. You don't have to get stuck with any one particular editor, any one particular program. There's lots of things out there that's available. Many of them free, and some you have to pay for. And some of them they're good enough on the free end, and they don't require anything extra other than your care and use and your appreciation. But then there are some of the more higher end professional type things. What I like about a lot of these software, like the education of using the software that you guys provide, and you guys are a priceless commodity in the homesteading community for all the services that you provide. But the more that we all improve together, the more that the homesteading community is going to be seen in a better light because everybody's channel is improving. We're beginning to look at more professional videos and more knowledge on how to get the homesteading knowledge out there for people that aren't into homesteading or don't know where to start. And I think it starts with all of us, and you guys help provide that. Okay. Well, like I say, I hope everybody learned something here this evening. Special thank you to our moderators out there for keeping up with the folks in the chat and taking care of those that maybe get a little unruly. Very special thank you to all the folks dressed in green out there that's got the little pictures behind their names. Those are the members of Smudge's Peoples. And if you'd like to become a member of Smudge's Peoples, you can click that join button down below. We'd love to have you. And yes, Crystal is a member. So when we actually meet up with her in person here later on, hopefully later on this year, she'll have a chance.
HOA, hopefully.
She'll have a chance to hug Smudge.
Yes.
So, with that, I guess we'll just call it an evening. What do you think, Jerry? Anything else? Nope. I guess we're all good. So, everybody, take care. Thanks so much for being here. Go visit a couple live streams tonight. We'll be back Thursday night with our wheel. We'll have the wheel back on Thursday night. And
that's at 5, right?
And Brent Broussard. Yes, 5 p.m. And Brent Broussard is gonna join us. So we'll talk to y'all later. Take care. Have a good night, folks. Bye-bye.